If you're planning a trip to Walt Disney World and you're hearing all about lightning lanes, but you're super confused and you don't understand them, this is the video for you to watch. Hi friends, Laura Kromzak here with the Disney Slowdown, and if you've watched my videos at all, you probably know that I've never purchased lightning lanes. But I have learned some things, and I wanted to share this information with you because I know planning a family vacation to Disney is very stressful and very expensive, and this is one of those costs that you may want to invest in, but you might not when you understand what they really are. Back in the day, you used to have fast passes. You probably recognize that term. That was before the world shut down, and they were free. That's right, Disney gave you 3 fast passes that you could book, and as soon as you used one, you could book another one. I thought the system was great. I never had an opportunity to use it. I was always excited to go in and use it because I had spent a lot of time learning about it. After the parks reopened, they started charging for this service, and while it's had several names, we have finally, after 6 years, landed on lightning lanes. Now there are 3 different kinds of lightning lanes. I know, it gets more complicated. I promise you, this is going to help you make your decision, so hang with me. There's a single pass lightning lane. Those are for the most popular attractions in each park, and Magic Kingdom has 2. That is an individual ride that you pay for each person in your party. They range from $16 to probably $27. I don't know. The prices keep going up, but if you average at $25 a ride, that's an extra $100 for your family of 4 or $125 for your family of 5 like we have after your park tickets. It can get pretty expensive. Now there's a multi-pass lightning lane, and the multi-pass lightning lane is for all other rides and attractions, and that includes shows, but it does not include the characters anymore. You still have to stand in those 45-minute waits for Mickey or the princesses, and then you're also trying to squeeze in as many rides because you paid for them with the lightning lane. I don't know. I think that kind of stinks. And there's another double-edged sword to this multi-pass lightning lane, which we'll talk about in just a minute. So hang with me. Then you have the Premier Pass lightning lane, which amazes me, but it continues to sell out. And I kind of understand the attraction for it because the Premier Pass lightning lane costs multiple hundreds of dollars per person, per park. And you cannot use it in any other park. It is only for that park. But you get to walk up to a ride or an attraction or a show 1 time per day and scan in. You don't have to be on your phone. You don't have to plan where everybody's going. You don't have to say, okay, we have a lightning lane at 2 p.m. at the Haunted Mansion and we're over in Tomorrowland. We need to book it over there. You can stroll around Disney at your leisure, but it's going to cost you. I don't understand why people jump all over that, honestly, but there's also other alternatives if you're wanting to spend that kind of money, and it might be a little cheaper, and we'll talk about that in a minute too. That Premier Pass does include the single pass lightning lanes, so those are not an additional charge, but like I said, it's a minimum of $150 per person per day, and that's at Animal Kingdom that has what, 5 or 6 rides right now? And a couple of shows, which you never have trouble getting into, to Magic Kingdom, which is well over $400 per person per day for 1 day at Magic Kingdom. If you could use the Premier Lightning Lane and hop to other parks, maybe, but man, that's just really steep, at least for my pocketbook. So let's talk about the real value of the multi-pass lightning lane. The price fluctuates based on crowds. So when the lightning lane multi-pass is on the lower end, and we're talking $19, I think, then you might not really need it. But I could understand you trying to lock in those top tier attractions or the ones that typically have really long waits just to make sure you get them in. The problem is you can't always guarantee that you're going to get those top tier attractions, because when you pre-book, you can only select one of the more popular rides, because remember, the most popular ride you have to pay for separately. So let's just take Magic Kingdom, for example. I recently took my friends around Magic Kingdom. I helped my friend Brandy with her 5 children, and the 3 littles either didn't want to ride the big rides, or little Miss Ariel wasn't big enough. She was adorable, so cute, and she wanted to ride all the big rides, bless her little heart. She just wasn't tall enough. So I did take the 2 bigger ones, and they wanted to ride the roller coasters, and they were okay standing in line. We stood in line for Space Mountain. We stood in line for Tron, and that was a 70-minute wait time. We stood in line for Haunted Mansion. They wanted to ride that one, and we stood in line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Now, they did not care about seeing the nighttime parade or the fireworks, and it was perfect. We got in line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train right before the fireworks, and right as we were coming up over the hill, on that first hill, the grand finale of fireworks shot off. It was beautiful. Now, the parks were not that busy that week. This was the week before spring break, but the wait times were still anywhere from 35 minutes to Tron was 70 minutes. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train was about 50 or 55 minutes. And I told them that's a good wait time, and they really wanted to do it. So they stood in line. I mean, that's kind of how I do Disney, but I understand that I come down here a lot. So if you are coming down for your once-in-a-lifetime trip and you absolutely just have to ride all of the rides, you're probably considering lightning lanes. What I saw, though, while I was taking these kids around, I saw people who had purchased lightning lanes and they didn't know how to use them. They tried to scan into an attraction and it went blue. And I saw this 3 or 4 times, and that means nope. Do not enter. Green is when you've booked the reservation and you can go in. I also talked to somebody who said, yeah, sometimes I'll pick up lightning lanes, especially if I can get it for like $19, and you get to ride 3 rides. And I'm like, no, you get to reuse them. And they were shocked. And they're locals, and they're like, okay, we thought we were just paying $19 for 3 rides. So my number 1 suggestion to you is that if you are going to buy lightning lanes and you are going to invest the money in lightning lanes, then you are going to have to invest the time in learning how to use them. Molly from Mammoth Club just put out, well, I guess it was probably in January or February that it was released, put out a 2026 Ultimate Guide to Lightning Lane. Yes, it's over an hour long. I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes long. But I think it was really helpful to show you how to book them, how to use them, how to schedule more, how to adjust your times, how to park hop, and also how to cancel them. I mean, she went over the whole thing before and during. Now, granted, you think, oh, she got some great rides. The problem is it was like a random day in January. That's a really good training video, and they do have other videos on their channel about when it's a really busy day and using lightning lanes and how many you can get. But you have to understand too that she's a pro. Like, she's been doing this for a very long time, and she knows how to do it. So being a first timer and using it, I don't know that I would expect to be able to get as many as she does, especially if the parks are really busy. That's just kind of my rule of thumb. It doesn't matter what I'm doing or how many videos that I watch. I don't feel like the first time that I go, like we did the Not So Scary Halloween party, I mean, of course it poured on us, so there wasn't a whole lot we could do. But I just feel like it's a challenge for me. I mean, my daughter and I went to the Orlando Informer meetup, which, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do that video. But I don't feel like I got as much out of it as I wanted to originally, or that I could have. Maybe we'll do it again, I don't know. That video is coming soon, so hang out with me. All right, my personal perspective, the real downside to the multi-pass lightning lane is that a lot of those rides you don't even need a lightning lane for. I feel like that's the big misconception, because Magic Kingdom, everybody's like, oh, it's more expensive at Magic Kingdom because there are more rides there. Yes, that's true, but unless you've got little kids, is everybody really riding Tomorrowland Speedway, Astro Orbiter? Are you really going to do the Carousel of Progress? That never has a wait, unless you're talking like Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, New Year's, those really busy days. I mean, I'll look at the map, and if Carousel of Progress has like a 20-minute wait, you know it's busy, because that's a rotating theater and it holds a lot of people, and every 5 minutes they're letting people out of one quadrant and putting more people on. So if that ever has more than a 5-minute wait, it's a really busy day in the park. Dumbo the Flying Elephant, that's another one. Like, are your kids really gonna do that? Little Mermaid, Under the Sea, are your kids gonna do that? It's a Small World, the teacups, the carousel. You see where I'm going with this? There are a lot of attractions at Magic Kingdom, but when we first showed up to Magic Kingdom, and my son had watched some YouTube videos, and we are amusement park people, and he was so stoked for Magic Kingdom because he'd watched the All Ears videos of like, I'm not gonna sleep until I ride everything in Magic Kingdom. And he's like, I'm gonna ride everything in Magic Kingdom. And we show up there and he's like, why are they all baby rides? We've been doing amusement parks since that kid was 4. So he's grown up in amusement parks. He's grown into roller coasters, and he's a thrill rider. But we get there and it's like teacups and the carousel, Tomorrowland Speedway, and Dumbo the Flying Elephant, and Magic Carpets of Aladdin. And he's like, well, this is disappointing. And again, a lot of those rides you're not going to need a lightning lane for. The 2 in Magic Kingdom that you have to pay extra for, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron. And honestly, about 60 minutes is usually my cap for getting in line for a more popular ride. Jungle Cruise can also get that high, and I will wait for Jungle Cruise, but Space Mountain usually ebbs and flows. It'll have moments of 60-minute plus lines, but then it'll drop down to 25, 35. So if my kids are going to ride that, then we usually try to wait it out and see when is the time gonna dip. Lunchtime is usually a good time to jump in that queue, honestly, because people are eating, they're not riding Space Mountain. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that if the 3 that you get to pre-book, which is going to be 1 top tier attraction and 2 filler attractions, if those are good enough for you and you're okay maybe not getting any more lightning lanes, and you think it's worth $45 or whatever they're charging at Magic Kingdom, then go for it. But I feel like for me personally, it hasn't been worth it, and I don't need to use them. But again, that's me, and I'm here all the time. I do know a lot of locals who will buy lightning lanes, which is kind of crazy to me. I'd rather spend my money on snacks. Now, when I did my mom's trip with my friend Stephanie, and we came down, we were down for like about 3 different days. We were gonna stay on property, but we switched from Coronado Springs, which is a moderate resort, to the Swan, which is a good neighbor hotel, but it's right behind Epcot, and it is in the deluxe label. We did that specifically because the day that we came in, Epcot had the deluxe extra hours events. So we had 2 extra hours in the parks just because we were staying at the Swan. Now that is a situation where if I added up the extra money that we spent, because the Swan charges you for parking, and we are local, we drove down, so we had parking charges, which was a surprise. But the difference between the 2 hotels was only like $40, but then it was $39 a day to pay for freaking parking. That's a situation where if we would have known there was a parking charge, we could have purchased a single pass lightning lane for each of those 3 days for Guardians, and it probably would have been the same money. So if I ever stay on property again, I'll probably look at that. If you didn't see that video, that was a lot of fun. I will link that here. Now let's talk about some other things that you can do even when the parks are super busy and you don't feel like you can get anything done, because let me tell you what, another fun fact is that these lightning lanes will sell out. And the more people that are using them and trying to get those top tier attractions, the less likely you are to be able to ride everything that you want to ride. And you paid top dollar for these multi-pass because there's so many people in the parks also trying to use them. I saw somebody post in a group that for March 29th of this year, Animal Kingdom multi-pass lightning lane is $45 a person. That is asinine to me. Yes, I said it. $45 for the 4 rides and 2 shows at Animal Kingdom. I don't care if it is a Sunday right before Easter. That's crap. That's just a decision you're gonna have to make. But you also want to make sure that you're being smart and you learn how to use them. So may the force be with you on that one. I did a series of videos, they were actually live videos, last summer because I really didn't have time to edit. Maybe I should just start going live on my channel because, oh my gosh, editing is like the bane of my existence. But it was plan B when the parks are busy, and fun and entertaining things that you can do in each of the parks, the top 3 things that you should not miss despite what everybody else is saying. Because everybody's telling you, oh, you have to ride Tron. No, you really don't. I mean, yeah, it's a cool ride. It's a 90-second ride. And it's fun if you like thrilling roller coasters. But if that's not your speed, or if your kids are not tall enough, there are other things in the parks to do, things that people usually bypass or they don't think too highly of that we really enjoy. So I will link that playlist right here for you. So that may be an alternative if you're panicking about, oh my gosh, the tickets are already so expensive because we're going during a really busy time. And now you're like, oh my gosh, do we buy lightning lanes, or by the time you book them, are they already going to be sold out? And then what do you do? So I got you. I've got that playlist there for you. So an alternative to the Premier Pass lightning lane, if you're already thinking Premier Pass for all 4 of your park days, you're easily looking at $1,000 extra per person just to go to Disney for 4 days. You might want to consider a VIP tour. My girl Daria, she's got you. She has groups where she sets up VIP tours, and let's say you have a family of 5, well, it's a set price for up to 10 people. So if you want to share with another group so you can kind of bring that price point down a little lower, then she can match you with another family or a couple of families, however it works, to get up to 10 people so that you can share that cost. And she matches you based on like what you guys want to do, what are your priorities. You can also park hop with the VIP tour. So that's probably a bigger benefit than paying for the Premier Pass lightning lane. Now granted, the Premier Pass lightning lane is going to give you every single attraction in each of the parks. But again, $200 per person for everything in Animal Kingdom, I think is asinine. At the most, you're gonna pay $25, I think, maybe $30 per person to ride Flight of Passage if you choose that. But Kilimanjaro safaris, I just don't feel like it's worth it. And Kali River Rapids is not always open. So then that removes another ride. But if you're interested in just hitting the top rides in each of the parks, now you do have to buy the Hopper Pass, but you could do that with a VIP tour, and then you could take your additional park days and you could go do the other attractions that, you know, it's okay to stand in line for. I think that would be a smart move. If I were coming down and already looking at the Premier Pass, another option would be to upgrade your hotel to stay in a deluxe. Now the prices could be interesting, but you could also rent DVC points. So if you look at that, as your additional cost. If you're planning your vacation a year out, you're not going to know when they have the deluxe extra evening hours. They only post those a couple months in advance. But you could take a gamble and you kind of look at the calendar. They will have Magic Kingdom deluxe hours through May, I believe, and then they start gearing up for the not so scary parties and practicing there. Epcot and Hollywood Studios, they have deluxe evening hours, I think through September, maybe even into October, since there's no Halloween things there. But when they start doing the Jollywood Nights, they stop having them at Hollywood Studios. So that's going to be November, December. And then Animal Kingdom, they just recently started doing the extra evening hours there. So you could probably get 2 parks with extra evening hours on any given week. It's only going to be on the weekdays. So it'll be like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And again, look at the calendars now and you can kind of see they have a pattern to them. Then you also have the paid after hours event, which is 3 hours after the parks close. And again, they'll do those at Magic, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. It's only for the rides, but if you're going to pay $200 per person to ride all the rides, it's cheaper than Premier Pass. And then again, you can go back and spend your park day looking around, taking in the shows, shopping, doing other things, eating snacks. Like you could totally relax on your park day and do the 3-hour evening event to ride all the rides. So there's different ways to structure it without having to stress yourself out using the lightning lane. And I cannot stress enough, please don't stress yourself out. You've already planned so much and you've paid so much. I saw a post, it was on Sunday or Monday, I can't remember, but there was somebody who'd posted, I think it was in the AP group, and they had a friend who was at Hollywood Studios right now, a mama, and she was breaking down. And it probably had a lot to do with the fact that it was a very busy time. She had all these plans and nothing was going right, because that's the one thing that you can count on in Disney World. You're gonna have to pivot a lot. And I felt so bad. And if I wouldn't have been blocked out, I would have immediately left my friend's house and I would have gone to Hollywood Studios and I would have helped her navigate Hollywood and get things done that they wanted to do. I don't know if she bought lightning lanes. I don't know any of this story, but it breaks my heart. And that's why I was very excited to spend the day with my friend Brandy and her 5 kids. I know this is a hard pill to swallow. Everybody wants to get their full money out of Disney, but you have to understand that everybody there paid the same amount of money that you did. And they're all trying to get their money out of what they spent, and they want to get all the experiences. And you just have no idea what is possible until you get there and experience it. And the first day could be an eye-opener. My friend Brandy would have been completely overwhelmed had I not been there to help her around. I mean, as a new person coming there alone with 5 kids. Now, she wasn't supposed to be alone. She was supposed to have another adult helper, but something went sideways, and so that didn't happen. So she was really lucky that I was there. And I wish I would have had one of the other kids with me too, because we really needed a third person, because we had 2 kids that didn't really want to ride anything, 1 little kid who really wanted to but couldn't ride a lot of things, but even the ones that she did want to ride, she had to do what her brothers wanted to do and they didn't want to ride anything. So having a third person there to split her off and take her on rides would have been really great. But dividing up your group might be what you need to do. And that's just the reality. Samara's first trip, she's 18 now, but she was 4 years old. She was the size of a 2-year-old, just like our little Ariel was the other week. And she couldn't ride anything, but she also didn't want to. She wanted to go hunt the princesses. So my husband took the older 2 kids and they just rode things, and I took Samara around. We had a park hopper. We had all the princesses in Magic Kingdom, and then I went over to Epcot with her and we hunted princesses over there. So splitting your party up might be a good idea if you've got different ages and different sizes of kids and different things that they are willing to do or that they want to do. And I know that's not an ideal family vacation, but that is the reality of Disney. And I wouldn't be afraid to split up your party. I think you would get less whining and complaining, because if you've got one person who wants to go shopping, like we had with our 5, and the other 2 kids wanted to ride rides, then you're going to get kickback from somebody. Just split them up and be prepared to split them up, which again is probably another thing where, do you really need the lightning lanes if you're all going to be split up? You're going to have 2 people to manage those lightning lanes, or at least have access to it, and I don't know how that works either. I have a playlist on my channel, so feel free to go watch that. And I do want to ask you, I want to put more content out, but I want it to be helpful. And I feel really weird like doing behind the scenes content, because I don't feel like there should be any secrets. Like, I'm trying to tell you like it is. But I know there's behind the scene content, and I don't pay for anybody else's behind the scene content. But I would love to know, like, what things would you like to see that are behind the scenes, right? Because I know there are memberships, and I really am trying to get somewhat of an income off of this. I would love to go buy pins and open a pin pack on their behalf, or you taste a new snack, or drink the new Joffrey's drink. Like, I would love to be that person for you. And I'm just conflicted, because I just want to lay it all out on the line, and I don't really know what behind the scenes content would be worthy. So I would love your help in that. If you could give me some ideas and let me know what your thoughts are, I greatly appreciate it, and I am so happy that you are here with me. I hope this video won't be too terribly long, but I hope it helps you make a decision as to whether or not you're going to spend the extra money. Please, please, please spend the time watching the videos that I suggested. I mean, the mom's video was just really fun. We had a blast. And I'm still getting used to this whole vlogging thing. This is not my career. So give me some grace there. But definitely the playlist that I put up there of Plan Bs, and also some of our favorite snacks. You can get some bad food in the parks, so I want to make sure that you're spending your money on something that's worth it. Oh, and here's the thing. I bought a kids meal at Pinocchio Village House, and I had the flatbread pizza. I was really impressed with that. And I love buying kids meals, because you get a smaller portion of an entree. You get usually 2 sides. So instead of fries, I mean, one of the boys wanted double the fries, so he got 2 fries. But I got a bag of apples and a cutie orange, and that was perfect for me. Plus, you can also put those in your bag where fries don't always stay well. And then you had a little bit of a soda, which sometimes you just need a spot of Coke, right? So all that to say, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this is helpful. Please leave your comments down below of what you think behind the scenes content should entail for me. And I appreciate you so much. And I look forward to seeing you on my next video.